Hey, what's going on, YouTube? How's everybody doing? I hope you are having a blessed and amazing day. Man, it's a beautiful day out here. If you live in Illinois or the Wisconsin area, it's a beautiful day outside, man. So make sure you get out, enjoy this sun, get yourself some vitamin D, get rid of that seasonal depression. That comes from the rain and the gray, the gloomy days, man. But anyway, this is the Weird Perspective. My name is Derry. Again, thank you for checking out this video. And today, I am going to ask you guys a question. I'm going to bring up a question to you guys who are viewing this. And it might seem like a simple question, but it's actually one of the most important questions that you could ever wrestle with. And that question is what does it really mean to believe? What does it really mean to believe? Whether you grew up in the church, you're just starting your walk with God, or you're spiritually curious. I want you. This video is for you, so stick around to the end. I hope you're encouraged by it. With that being said, man, let's get started with defining some basic, definitions, right? Some basic terms. And so we're talking about believe. I want to define that, right? To believe means to accept something as true, real, or trustworthy, right? Truth, real, or trustworthy. But here's the thing, man. The Bible, right? The Bible shows us that belief is more than just agreeing with your mind. It's more than just agreeing with your mind. It puts a strong emphasis on trust, right? And so it makes it about trust, right? In the New Testament, there's a word that is used for belief, and it's pistuo. I believe that's how you pronounce it. If it's wrong, I'm sorry. Forgive me for that. But that word simply means to rely on, to trust in, or to commit one's self to, or commit yourself to. What it means, it's the difference, right? It's the difference between it's the difference between believing that a chair, right, can actually hold me, and then actually going and sitting down in that chair, right? That makes sense, right? So true belief is trust. It's trust put into actions. In the book of Acts, chapter 16, I believe it's verse 30, 31, somewhere around there, Jesus, it says that believe in the Lord Jesus and you will be saved. Simple, right? Believing in Jesus and you will be saved. It's not just asking you to agree with the facts about Jesus, right? That he was a real person. It's inviting you to have a relationship with Jesus, right? Putting your belief, right? Your trust, right? In this person, Jesus, right? Belief is more than just head knowledge, right? It's more than just knowing about somebody, but it's actually more so about experiencing them, right? Having a real relationship with them. There's a lot of people in this world that says they believe in God. It's a lot of people, man. There's a lot of people, man. Listen, I live in Chicago, and almost every other person that you talk to, if you ask them the question, man, do you believe in God? They'll say, yeah, most of them, right? But I came across this verse, man, in James chapter 2, and it was like, even the demons believe. And even the demons believe. And that verse always stops me in my tracks, right? Because it says even the demons believe and they shudder, right? They're fearful because remember, demons are fallen angels. Even they have they've experienced God, like they seen him and all of his glory. They were in the presence of him, like for real. So they know without a shadow of a doubt, man, that Jesus is real. So every time I read that verse, or I come across that verse in the Bible, it always just makes me think, like, man, these demons who choose to live a life of disobedience, even they believe and they know that God exists. But the difference is that it's a relationship, right? They don't put their trust in Jesus. And so we're gonna get into that a little bit today. Um, but reading that, right, it reminds me, man, that it's more than like a mental agreement that we make in our head. It isn't the same as a saving faith, right, in Jesus, right? You can know all the facts, right, about something. You can memorize the Bible. You can know all the facts about Jesus. You can memorize the Bible. You can go to church every Sunday. You can, sing the worship songs and all those things. You can do all those things, right? But never actually surrender your life to Jesus. It's crazy, right? That a lot of people go through life just going to church and, trying to be good people, but never having a real relationship with God, man. Real belief in Jesus, man, it's going to change you, right? Your mind is going to be renewed, man. Your priorities are going to change. Your habits are going to change. Your relationships with people are going to change for the good, right? And your identity, right? That old person is going to be dead. Your identity is going to change, right? You're going to be a whole new person, man. And how you think and how you operate, how you show love to people, it's going to change, man. And so you just don't say you believe in love, right? You just don't say, man, I believe in love. You show love. You just don't say, I believe in forgiveness, right? You extend forgiveness, right, to those people who you need to give forgiveness to. Excuse me. That's the kind of belief in Jesus. That's the kind of belief that God is calling us to. And so belief, man, it's an action word. It's definitely an action word, man. Let me give you guys an example of it. This is gonna be a big one because there's so many people, right? This is very popular right now in culture, right? This is probably why it came to my mind. The example is, you know a lot about health, right? Eating healthy, right? It's a big thing. I need to, myself, make better choices when it comes to food. But imagine you believe, man, like eating healthy is important, right? Most people would say, yeah, I believe that, right? Yeah, that's true. I agree with that, right? You've read about it, you've seen it on commercials, you've learned about it in school, you've done your research, whatever, right? You have conversations with people about it. You know this, right? But then every day you choose to eat fast food, right? You choose to buy that McDonald's, that Wendy's, right? That 4 for 4, right? And drink that pop, right? And do these things. Do you really believe that eating healthy is important if you choose to eat fast food, right? Every day, right? The same thing is true with our faith, right? If I say, man, I believe in Jesus, I believe in him, but I'm not willing to follow him, do I really believe in him, right? There's a passage in Luke chapter 6. It says, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I say, right? It says Lord, Lord twice in there. It says, belief that doesn't lead to obedience is just lip service. That's what the Pharisees were. They were just lip service. They believed in doing all the religious practices, and they even read and memorized the scriptures. But they disobeyed God, man. They did their own thing. Belief that doesn't lead you to, that doesn't lead you to obedience. That's what real belief in Jesus should do. It should lead you to obedience, man. That's where the transformation is going to happen, right? But I wanna slow down for a second, and I wanna deal with something that I can hear people like asking the questions right now, and that is about doubts, right? So believing doesn't mean that you won't have doubts ever, right? You're gonna have doubts. I've been walking with Jesus since 2011. I've had doubts. I've had things that have happened in my life. I've been in situations where I'm like, man, I really don't know if God is gonna come through. I know His word. He said some promises, but I really don't know. I really don't know, right? And so belief in Jesus, right, doesn't mean that you won't have some doubts, man. There is a man in the Bible, one of Jesus' apostles, right, his disciples. They call him, his nickname is Doubting Thomas, right? Go read about Thomas. Thomas, he doubted, man. He had a lot of doubts. He when they said, the other disciples said, man, we seen Jesus, he resurrected. He said, man, I ain't believing nothing. Even though Jesus told him that he was going to resurrect, he said, I ain't believing nothing until I can touch the holes in his hands. I can see him. He ain't want to believe, right? So yeah, you go check out check out Thomas for yourself. But there's also a man in the book of Mark, and this man, he was struggling with his belief, man. This is one of the realest prayers that you will ever come across, and I believe it's Mark chapter, I believe it's 9, but he's a father, and he is crying out to Jesus. He's like, Lord, I believe. But then he says this powerful thing. He says, help my unbelief, right? Help me with my unbelief. Man, I'm getting a lot of text messages right now. I'm sorry, y'all. Start recording these videos on my tablet. He's saying, man, help my unbelief. And that's really, man, that's a super honest prayer, man. One of the most honest prayers is that we can have with Jesus is when we ask him to help us, man, with our unbelief, our doubts, man. And so it's saying, man, God, I trust you, but I'm still struggling. Like, would you help me? That's what essentially that prayer that man was asking about. And so I'm sorry, things are popping up on my phone. It's getting me distracted. My bad. Let me lock back in. Yeah. So, unbelief. My bad, y'all. Unbelief. What would I leave off at? Oh, okay. So yeah. Faith, man. Faith isn't it isn't the absence of questions, right? Believing Jesus isn't the absence of questions and doubts. It's choosing to trust even when we don't have all the answers, right? I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything. I don't care if you read this book 100 times, if you read this Bible 100 times, you're never going to have all the answers. And you still are probably going to have some type of doubts, right? Some type of doubts you're going to have, man. Yeah, it is. The children of Israel, man, they seen Jesus do all these miracles, fire down from heaven, manna, right? They heard the voice of the Lord, right? They even, to the point where they told Moses, hey, you go talk to the Lord. We don't want nothing to do with that. That's too much for us, man. You can go and deal with that and talk to the Lord. We don't want to hear his voice, because they were so fearful. They seen, but at least they heard his power. This thunder, you know, how thunder and lightning we experience when it rains. So at least that's what the Bible wrote, what God's voice is like, right? And they still had doubts. That's why they were in the wilderness for 40 years, man. And so again, man, faith isn't the absence of questions, but it's choosing to trust even when we don't have all the answers, man. That's real belief, right? Faith in the middle of our fear, you know, our lack of understanding. Trust in the middle of uncertainty, the unknown, not knowing where these things are gonna come from. That's what, you know, real faith is. Belief that leads to faith, man. Belief is a relationship. It's a relationship. And here's something that if you take anything from this video, this is what I don't want you to forget this, right? Belief isn't just a decision. It's a relationship. I'll say it again. Belief, it isn't just a decision. It's a relationship. When you believe in Jesus, you're not just agreeing with his teachings, right? There's Muslims that believe in Jesus' teachings, right? But you're entering into a real walk with him, a real relationship with him, right? And so when you believe, right, and as you go through that relationship, your belief in Jesus, right, your faith in Jesus grows. You could, because you're now experiencing that he is good. You're experiencing that he is true to his word. You're experiencing that his grace is enough, right? You're experiencing that he'll never leave you. He'll never forsake you, right? And it's not about perfection. It's not about being this perfect person, but it's about following his directions, following, walking with Jesus, because he's going to guide you. He's going to lead you into all truth, right? He ultimately going to lead you into victory over these things that we might be struggling with, things that we're dealing with, right? He provides for us. He takes care of us. He protects us from the enemy. Walking with Jesus is that, right? And so, in closing, I didn't want this video to be that long, but I just want to wrap this up, man, with saying, man, well, I'll end with this. There's a question that you got to ask yourself. What does it really mean to believe? What does it really mean? It means you trust the Lord with your heart. You live it with your life, right? You walk with Jesus, man, every day. Walking with him, that's where the transformation begins to happen. And if you're watching this and wondering, man, have I really believed like that? That's not something to be afraid of, man. Take those things to Jesus. Don't feel condemned. But man, no, like, there's still time, man. Today is a new day. It's a beautiful day outside. Go to Jesus, man. Jesus is always inviting us to go deeper in our understanding with him, right? You might not be fully even sold out, but you're like, man, I'm gonna give him a try. Jesus is like, hey, he'll take that, right? And he can do amazing things with just that little bit of faith, right? Faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains, right? So today, man, talk to God. Ask him to grow your faith, right? Surrender whatever it is that's holding you back, man. Surrender that surrender it to the Lord, right? And let him do it, because we can't do it on our own. He has to be the one that does it, right? So, man, I hope you are encouraged today. I hope you were encouraged by this video. Man, don't forget to like this video if you have been blessed by it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And until the next one, man, be blessed and keep believing. All right? Peace.